The quiet advantage INFJs have over others. There is something about INFJs that most people don't fully understand. It's not loud. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't try to prove itself. It simply exists. Quietly. Consistently. In the background of everything they do. It's not obvious. It's not something you can easily measure. It's not something people talk about openly. But it's there. A quiet advantage. A subtle edge. Something powerful. Hidden beneath calm behavior. And gentle silence. You might have seen it before. In small moments. In conversations that feel different. In the presence of someone who seems to notice more than they say. The way they read a room. Without asking questions. Without interrupting. Without needing explanations. They just know. The way they understand people. Without being told. Without long stories. Without detailed explanations. They feel what others miss. The way they step back. Yet somehow see more than everyone else. They are not always at the center. But they are always aware. Watching. Listening. Understanding. And the surprising part is this. Most INFJs don't even realize how powerful this is. They think it's normal. They think everyone experiences life this way. They assume others notice the same details, feel the same depth, process the same layers. But they don't. And that changes everything. In this video, we explore 12 quiet advantages INFJs have over others that most of them are completely unaware of. 1. They see patterns others completely miss. INFJs don't just observe life. They don't just move from one moment to another. They connect. They link experiences together. They notice small details. Things most people overlook. A change in tone. A repeated behavior. A subtle reaction. Tiny shifts. Almost invisible to others. But not to them. And over time, these details begin to form patterns. Patterns in behavior. How someone reacts under stress. How someone avoids certain topics. How someone repeats the same choices. Patterns in emotions. Cycles of happiness and withdrawal. Moments of confidence followed by doubt. Patterns in outcomes. Situations that seem different, but end the same way. While others see isolated moments, INFJs see continuity. A story unfolding. A direction forming. They can sense where things are going. Before it becomes obvious. Before anyone says it out loud. Before it fully happens. Not because they are guessing. Not because they are imagining. But because they are noticing what others overlook. They are connecting dots that others don't even see. This gives them a quiet predictive ability. They can anticipate reactions. They can sense when someone is about to withdraw. They can feel when tension is building. They can foresee problems before they fully surface. And because of this, they often prepare early, adjust early, step back early. They move ahead of situations without making it obvious. And most of the time, they don't even realize how rare this is. They think it's just awareness, just observation. But in reality, it is a powerful advantage. 2. They understand people on a deep emotional level. INFJs don't just listen to words. They listen beyond them. They listen between them. They listen to silence, to pauses, to what is not being said. They feel tone, the softness or tension in a voice. They notice energy, the emotional atmosphere around a person. They sense emotion beneath the surface, even when it's hidden. Someone can smile, and INFJs will still sense sadness. They notice the slight delay in the smile, the heaviness in the eyes, the quiet tension behind the expression. Someone can speak confidently, and INFJs will still feel uncertainty. They notice the hesitation, the subtle inconsistencies, the emotional undercurrent. This emotional intelligence is not loud. It is not dramatic. It develops slowly, over years, through observation, watching people closely, through empathy, feeling what others feel, sometimes without understanding why, through reflection, thinking about interactions afterward, understanding them more deeply. And because of this, INFJs connect with people deeply, even in short interactions, even in passing conversations, People feel seen. Even if nothing is said directly, they understand motivations. Why someone reacts the way they do. What drives their choices. Hidden fears. The things people avoid talking about. The things they hide. Unspoken needs. The things people hope someone will notice, but rarely express. And this gives them a powerful advantage. In relationships, they don't need long explanations. They don't need constant communication. They know how to respond without being told what is needed. Sometimes with just a few words. Sometimes with silence. Sometimes just by being present. 3. They think before they act. INFJs are not impulsive. They don't rush into reactions. They don't speak just to fill space. They pause. A small pause. Often unnoticed by others, but important to them. They reflect. Even in real time. They consider consequences. Not just immediate outcomes, but long-term effects. Before they speak, they think. They choose words carefully. They consider tone, impact, meaning. Before they act, they evaluate. They look at the situation from different angles. They consider how others might feel. They consider what might follow. This may look like hesitation. To others, it may seem like overthinking or uncertainty, but it is not. It is awareness. They are processing multiple layers at the same time. Emotional impact. How someone might feel. Long-term effects. What this decision might lead to later. Hidden outcomes. Things that are not obvious right now. This makes their decisions more intentional, more aligned, less reactive, and often more effective. They avoid unnecessary conflict. They avoid careless mistakes. They avoid words they might regret. While others rush. INFJs move with quiet precision. Slow on the surface, but clear underneath. 4. They are highly self-aware. INFJs spend a lot of time in their inner world. Not out of isolation, but out of curiosity. They reflect on conversations, on emotions, on experiences. They analyze their own thoughts. Why did I react that way? Why did that affect me? They question their own reactions. Not to judge themselves, but to understand. They try to understand themselves deeply, layer by layer, emotion by emotion. This creates strong self-awareness. They know their strengths, what they do well, what comes naturally. They recognize their weaknesses, where they struggle, where they need growth. They notice their emotional patterns, what triggers them, what drains them, what restores them. And because of this, they grow. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, consistently. They adjust. Small changes over time. They refine their behavior, their mindset, their responses. They improve without needing external pressure, without needing constant feedback. This quiet inner work gives them an advantage most people lack. They are not just reacting to life. They are understanding it from the inside out. 5. They remain calm in emotional chaos. When situations become intense, many people react quickly. Voices rise. Emotions take control. Reactions become immediate. Clarity fades. Everything becomes louder, faster, more reactive. But INFJs often do the opposite. They slow down. They become quieter, more observant, more centered. It's not that they don't feel the intensity. They feel it deeply, sometimes more than others. They absorb the emotions around them. They sense tension strongly, but instead of reacting, they hold it. They absorb. They process. They create space inside themselves. Before responding, before speaking, before acting, they stabilize. Not just themselves, but often the situation. This calm presence can shift the entire atmosphere. Without effort, without force. Others may not understand why, but they feel it. A subtle grounding, a quiet steadiness. INFJs become a grounding force, a quiet anchor. In moments where everything else feels unstable, they don't need to control the situation. They simply remain present. And that presence changes things. 6. They choose meaningful over meaningless. INFJs are selective. Not in a harsh way. Not in a judgmental way. But in a thoughtful way. They don't chase everything. They don't feel the need to be everywhere. They don't engage in every conversation, especially when it feels empty, repetitive, or without depth. They don't invest energy everywhere, because they know their energy is limited and valuable. So they choose carefully what matters, what feels real, what has depth. They are drawn to meaning, to purpose, to connection. This allows them to focus on what truly adds value. Relationships with meaning, not just frequent interaction, but real understanding. Work with purpose, not just activity, but direction. Ideas with depth, not just opinions, but insight. While others spread their energy thin, INFJs concentrate it. They invest deeply, rather than widely. And this focus creates impact. Not loud, not immediate, but lasting. Quiet, but powerful. 7. They are naturally intuitive decision makers. INFJs rely heavily on intuition. It's not loud. It doesn't always explain itself, but it is consistent. A quiet inner knowing, a sense of direction. They may not always have logical proof, but they feel when something is right, and when something is off. This intuition helps them navigate uncertainty. It guides them through complex situations. It allows them to make decisions, even when information is incomplete. And often, their instincts are accurate, more than they realize. 8. They can see multiple perspectives at once. INFJs don't think in one direction. They expand. They consider different viewpoints, different emotions, different possibilities. In a disagreement, they can understand both sides, even when they don't agree. This makes them balanced thinkers. Fair, open-minded, less reactive. They don't jump to conclusions quickly. They explore. They reflect. They understand. And this gives them an advantage. In communication and problem-solving, they see complexity, where others see simplicity. 9. They grow through solitude. INFJs need time alone, not as escape, but as renewal. Solitude is where they process, where they reflect, where they understand themselves. While others may avoid being alone, INFJs use it as a tool, a space for growth, clarity, insight. This allows them to return to the world with deeper understanding, with clearer thoughts, with stronger direction. Their solitude is not emptiness. It is preparation. 10. They are driven by purpose, not pressure. INFJs are not easily influenced by external expectations. They don't follow trends blindly. They don't chase approval constantly. They move toward what feels meaningful. Purpose matters more than recognition. Alignment matters more than popularity. This gives them quiet independence. They can walk a path that others don't understand, without needing validation. And this often leads them to unique and fulfilling outcomes. 11. They build deep, lasting connections. INFJs don't collect relationships. They cultivate them. They invest time, attention, energy into the people they care about. They listen deeply. They support genuinely. They remember details, small things that matter. Because of this, their connections become strong, meaningful, long-lasting. People feel seen around them, understood, valued, and this creates trust, a rare and powerful advantage in both personal and professional life. 12. They find strength in silence. INFJs are comfortable with silence, not empty silence, but meaningful silence. They don't feel the need to fill every gap. They don't rush to speak. They observe. They listen. They allow moments to unfold. And in that silence, they notice more. They understand more. They choose their words carefully. And when they do speak, it carries weight. Because it is intentional. Because it is thoughtful. Because it is rare. So if you are an INFJ, and you've ever felt different, quieter, more observant, more reflective, this is not a weakness. It is a quiet advantage. One that most people don't see. And one that many INFJs don't fully recognize. You are not behind. You are not missing out. You are simply operating on a different level of awareness, a deeper level, a calmer level, a more intentional level, and in a world that often moves too fast. That quiet depth is rare and powerful, so trust it, protect it, and most importantly, learn to see it, because once you do, you'll realize you were never at a disadvantage. You were just playing a different game.